Hi, my name is Adrian Walujo. I'm an illustrator and designer, and I've been working professionally in the creative space for over 7 years now. A big part of what I do is sharing about my work and also sharing about my services so that the right people can find them. I also know that from talking to people and also from my own personal experience, creating content for marketing can take a lot of time and a lot of energy. And as a first time mom, it's really important for me to keep my business sustainable so that I can juggle with everything else in my life. Today, in my session, I'll be sharing to you about how I use Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Express to add animation to my illustration and then use them in my content marketing. I really hope that these time saving tips can also help other creative out there who may be time poor just like me. Let's dive into it. And now we're just going to be opening our Adobe Illustrator. I'm going to create a series of posts where there's going to be multiple slides, and I'll be choosing like a square format. Here, by pressing Shift O, you'll be able to see the artboard, and then this is the size that I'm going to be using, which is like 1,000 pixel to 1,000 pixel. Remember that when you create content, it's so important that it's high quality. So 1,000 pixels should be like a safe dimension. Now, I've also added my sketches here. So I will be talking about like the things that I usually do, like when a client reaches out to me. And I thought like having this illustration here, which I'm going to animate later, will be really like a really fun way of telling about like my process. Usually I sketch them on my tablet, or also sometimes I sketch them on paper, take a picture, and then just like send it over like to my computer. I'll just put them in the layer here and then turn the opacity down to like 40%, just enough so that you can see them. Lock that layer, and then on a new layer, I'll be tracing them basically and using them as a reference. I'll be using a pen tool, and usually I like to work just with the outline first because it's just easier. And I like using actually color that are quite bright so that it's easy for me to keep track about how far I've come. Let's use stroke to thickness 2 point and just, start working. And as you are tracing this, when you use pen tool, it's so important that you, for me personally at least, to not use too many anchor point. I think it's similar to drawing where a big confident stroke is better than like a smaller stroke because it makes the illustration looks choppy. And similarly, I think even when using pen tool, think about the places where there's going to be like a turning point. So that's why I start here, then like where there's the curve, and then just follow through. And feel free to also use my sketch here if you want to create your own illustration or to practice. But if you are thinking of doing like content marketing, I would also encourage you to think about the kind of illustration that resonate well with your personal brand. In a time where there's so much content out there, it's so important to be able to stand out. Because like when people see them online, like they'll think about you, like, oh, I remember seeing like this style before. So think about the kind of simple visual style that can reflect your personal brand and also reflect the kind of work that you can do. And in my case, like this minimalist like outline style is something that I'm known. So I'll be also incorporating that on my content creating. And this can be quite relaxing. Like usually what I do is I listen to podcasts, or I listen to like I watch series on the other screen, because it is quite relaxing for me at least. And no worries, like with anchor point, like the good thing is like you can always fix them, or if you think that's not too good, You can always continue. You can delete the one that you don't really particularly like and just start over. I use Shift C and to adjust the anchor point. Sometimes it's easier to start over rather than fixing something that is not working. Now it's like a better curve. So just doing that. For the ear, let's use a circle. The circle tool. So press L, or here it is, like for ellipse. And then I'll add an anchor point over here. Add an anchor point, and then I delete the one here. So I delete that so that I want to take just like this part. And I think like why I think it's really important as a professional creative in today's age for us to think about like the illustration style that works well for content creating is because you'll have to create a lot of them. So think about how you can optimize like what you have and create lots of them in a short amount of time. It's not about compromising on quality, but also it's about being efficient. And the most important thing is the message, in which I'll be sharing soon. So this is just like an earring that I'm like the one I'm wearing. I really like this earring. It's like a flower, and so here it is. I'm creating a flower from 4 circles. Actually, let's do a 5 petals. So there's a 5 circles, and then I select them all, just drag select, and then using Pathfinder, I click on Unite. So what this do, it's like it's going to create into like one big shape, erasing like all the overlap. I undo that because I want to adjust something. So let's move it over here so there's like an empty space there. So I'm going to just add one more circle. And then now we have like a flower petal that I'm going to be using as my earring. This is a square, and then pressing A, clicking on the 2 dots here, I'm going to pull the bottom part to make my glasses. All right, so that's my glasses here. And then this is my body. It's gonna be like more abstract looking. So let's just quickly create something. Ha! I don't know why I made that sound effect, but it's okay. Adjust them once you get like the correct proportion. So I'll, using anchor point, I'll choose the 2 anchor points at the bottom after creating a rectangle. And then I'll pull the corner, and then I'll choose the one here again, because as you can see, they are not equal. And and using the pen tool to create the bottom part. And while holding shift to ensure that it's on the same height. Okay. Another tool that I really like using is the pencil tool. So I press N, or you can find it here, the pencil tool. So it allows me to create like a free form of shape there. If you have pen tablet, that's going to be much easier. But I'm using mouse, so I prefer using the pen tool actually, because there is just more control over each curve. So this is just like an abstract representation of the finger. Here we have a bubble speech. So I mentioned that earlier. This is like a tips on how to create. So I'm gonna be using polygon tool, 3 sides to create like a triangle. Rotate them while pressing shift so that it rotates in a 90-degree 90-degree increment. Similarly, unite them again. And then now let's add a circle where the notification goes. And I like having like a space in between. So I'll add an anchor point here, another one here. If I click this, press Command Y and press the anchor here, just delete it. And then we have that left. So the Command Y will turn on like the wireframe mode. So you can really see them like clearly, especially when you're choosing an anchor point. That'll be really useful. So this is the envelope. Okay. So let's turn off the sketch. All right. And then let's make sure that all the stroke is the same width. And also I would like to have this rounded corner. The rounded corner gives it like a soft look to the piece. Pressing that, Command Shift, and then send it, or you can arrange, send it to back. So that means like it will be under all the other existing shapes. Similarly, I want this to be filled rather than an outline to give that nice balance. And then you're done. We have our illustration now. Another favorite font that I like using is the Gallica. You can also find this in Adobe font. A lot of free font that you can use for work, for personal use, which is really awesome. Because finding the right font is really important as a designer. Okay. And now I will pull in like the one that I've created before. So what I do is that I created like text. So this is like the series name. This is a title, like big and clear what it's about. My must-dos when a new client reaches out. So I'll be saving this, socialmedia.ai. And then let's move to Adobe Express now. Okay, now we are going to move to Adobe Express, and this is our dashboard and our home page. Let's click the button over here, and then we'll choose Upload Media. And then let's choose the AI file that we saved earlier, which is the socialmedia.ai. Let's open that, and then you'll be asked to like 2 options. The first one is to add AI file as a linked image. This means that you are able to use it as an asset, and then whatever you do in Adobe Illustrator is going to be connected to Adobe Express. But the one that we want to use today is the second one, which is to edit the AI file in a new Express file. So they will convert them, and then they'll like separate like all the different elements. And we need this because we're going to animate like some of the items inside the file. So let's create a new Express file. And I just love how seamless it is, rather than just saving all the different SVG and then exporting them and then importing them again into like a new editing platform. I can just upload the whole file. And then let's open our new Express file that has been converted. And let's see. Yep, this is the same file that we were creating much earlier in Adobe Illustrator. As you can tell, you are able to click and move things around. We also have our hidden layer, which is the sketch, and we are going to delete that because it's no longer relevant. Let's fix the number 1 over here so that it is centered. And there are 2 parts that I want to animate that I mentioned today, is that this email icon over here, which we are going to group together, and also the read more and the arrow that we are going to group together. So this is going to be the primary animation, and this is going to be a secondary animation that just encourages, I want them like to move just slightly to kind of signal to the viewer that, hey, I have more slides that you can just swipe and take a look at. So let's click on the first element that we want to animate. On your left hand side, you'll be able to see that there is an animation icon over here. So you click on that. It says none because we haven't applied anything. So there are 3 parts of the animation. The first one is the in. So it's how it comes into the scene. And once it comes to the scene, how is it going to move? And then lastly, how it goes out of the scene. So first, let's think about how we would like to animate this. And I wanted to animate up, similar to how a notification appears on your phone. Let's click on rise. Okay, that's the right movement, but it's a bit too slow. So let's click on the settings button and then change the duration to 1 second. So you can slide them around or you can just type it in. For the personality, I would like something strong. Okay, because it feels more umph. And then once it's inside the scene, let's have it bob. I like that. Let's make the intensity lower. It was 9, so let's do like an 8. I think is sufficient. And then the speed, I think, is at a good speed. And then how do we want it to go out? So let's make it similar to the first one, which is rise in, rise out. But then let's change the direction to downwards. And then make the duration also 1 second, and then personality strong. So let's preview our first animation by clicking play here. Yeah. And then it's going to go out. Perfect. If you feel it's too long, you can always shorten it to 3 seconds here, or you can just drag it longer. So let's do 3 seconds. And now let's animate the second part, which is read more. To the left hand side, we have in. I want it to appear like this. Or actually, I like this, like it's softer. Let's make the duration much shorter. So the shorter the duration, the faster the animation. Okay, so I think a 1.2 would hit the right spot. The personality is soft because I want it to not distract the original like primary animation. And then let's try breathe or pulse. Pulse feels a bit more intense. So let's decrease the speed and also decrease the intensity. Maybe the speed can be still fast, but then, yep. Okay. And in this case, maybe to see the whole animation, it's better if it's longer. So we're just gonna drag that and then preview it again. At the moment, like there are two animations happening at the same time. What you can do is, let's show layer timing. So if we press this, you'll be able to, I want to tell the element to only appear after a few seconds after that. So that one first and then read more afterwards. So what I click is I show the layer timing. So you have to toggle, like click on this toggle to be able to see and adjust like the timing. So you'll have, if I click the first one, it's going to use the whole timeline. But for the second one, it's just going to be like it's going to start after the first animation start. So this way, it's not too distracting. All right. And then there you have it. You can share this, you can post it straight away to social media that you have linked, or you can download this as an MP4, however you like. But if you can share it straight away, it's going to save like one more step. And yeah, using these tips, I have created like a few different content creation marketing. I hope these tips and tricks have been helpful and can inspire you to create your own kind of visual, your own kind of content in your own personal brand. Thank you for watching and see you again next time.